Hello everybody, once again here. This is another live beer review, at least as live as I can make it. Can't quite do streaming yet, but anyway. Alright, so in my tradition, yeah, like there is one, of the cheap beers I used to drink, tonight I'm having a Mickey's beer. I have not had one of these since the later 90s. I know that for sure because it's just been that long. Back when I was drinking Mickey's and the cheap beer, malt liquors, just whatever they could afford, they only had the grenades that I recall, the little bottles, right? I don't recall there being Mickey cans, or if there were, well, I have no memory of it. But then again, I was drunk so often, who knows? Okay, here is what I'm looking at. Tall Boy Mickey's Ice, 24 ounces. Yeah, I don't remember the Mickey's Ice when I used to drink this stuff. That may be a newer thing. I didn't look up a full history on it. I just know I used to drink the regular Mickey's small grenade bottles. Now I know ice beers have been around for a long time. Uh, Mickey's is made by Miller Brewing. I believe they bought it from another brewery. The quick history I read is it's been around since at least the 60s, although I can't confirm that, but it may be a little newer. I don't care enough to research. So Mickey is just a malt liquor. What's that mean? It means it's a very high gravity beer with lots of alcohol generally to get you drunk. That's kind of the point of them. Um, and then I'll go over the ice part in just a moment. Briefly here, the ingredients right off the Miller Coors website: barley malt, which is probably Pilsner malt, corn syrup, meaning dextrose and maltose, as they say, yeast, and hop extract. To hit on that really quickly, barley malt, the base malt, give it, if it's Pilsner, bread, cracker, possibly toasted, sweetness, corn syrup, which just increases the gravity, gives it more alcohol. Yeast to ferment it, to maybe give some flavors, and hop extract. The reason that some breweries use hop extract instead of regular hops, it's usually a liquid thing, is it's light stable. Most hops, whether they're pellet or whole leaf, when you are fermenting them, or even in a bottle, light sunlight at approximately 550 nanometers, there's a little bit of a range, but that's approximate, will cause a chemical reaction in the hops. I can't remember what off the top of my head, but it will skunk it, and you will know. There's no saving it. I've had it happen to me a few times. The hop extract does not have that characteristic. It doesn't happen to it, and I don't remember why, but it's safe in that sense. That's why when you see clear beer bottles, well, they use hop extract in those. Okay, enough about that. The ice part, brief history about that. Ice beers, regardless of who makes it, what, when, why, those are known as, that process is known as fractional freezing. And what that means is they get the finished product, and they freeze it, or at least maybe even a little bit below freezing. Water freezes at 32 Fahrenheit, 0 Celsius. Alcohol freezes way below that, like in the negative hundreds, or not quite that low, but much, much lower. So they freeze it, they get a layer of ice, and they either shave that layer of ice off, or in a fermenter, they drain some of the beer off the bottom. That leaves more of the ice and water behind, that increase the alcohol, because alcohol stays, the beer does not. Quick overview of it. So, one roommate a long time ago told me Molson invented it. No, they did not. Earliest recorded history I can find is Germany. But just think of it, ice beer is actually fractional freezing. Enough about that. Okay, so I don't remember having this ice version, but maybe I did. So I'm going to go ahead and try this out. My expectations not real high, but let's see what it's all about. I paid $1.99 for this 24-ounce beer, and it's kind of odd. When I bought it, my lady was looking at me like, seriously, are you kidding me? You, who's a beer snob, who only drinks German and Belgian, not entirely, but mostly, you're seriously buying that? I said, yeah, why not? I haven't had one since the late 90s. What the hell? I sampled a Bud and a Bud Light. Why not have a Mickey's? Except I probably won't buy one after this. All right, time to open up now. I'm going to pour this into a glass and then try it out of the can as well. Should be here. Like you haven't seen this, right? First appearance is a straw. You don't gain more pale than that. It's about 2 or 3 Lovibond. That tells me it's Pilsner malt. Now, I did a brief discussion with another person, not on my channel, that said corn syrup and all that, and what is it, adjuncts, corn, rice, etc. He said it absolutely lightens the body. Not entirely true. What it does is it's highly fermentable, so it turns into alcohol, and it does remove itself from the body, so you don't really see it. So in that sense, yeah, increase the body, and it does lighten the color, but that's not the main goal of it. It's to increase alcohol. So the person who said that wasn't technically accurate. Absolutely clear. Kettle findings, such as Whirlflock, Irish Moss. It's probably been filtered to remove anything that was in it at all. Cold crashed. It is totally transparent. You can see everything right through it. Everything. I would expect that from malt liquor, or at least this beer. Nothing to see here, right? Okay. Thin head, died down significantly. Now it's just about paper. Laces the glass a little bit. But there's just really nothing to see here. It looks like a urine analysis that would probably pass. Yeah. Of course, how could you tell just by looking at it, right? Here's Mickey's. First time having one. Well, definitely the ice version. So I guess in that sense, first time ever. Oh, wait, I have to smell the aroma first. Smells a little bit sweet. Corn. Can't say for sure it's a corn syrup. That could be the Pilsner malt in it. Very soft. Maybe even a light hint of toasted in here. That's kind of all I get at this point. Not a bad aroma. Let's try it out. Well, it gives a coating on the bottom of my mouth. Very light. Tastes like a corn sweetness. No hop character at all. Very light body. Now this is only 5.6% alcohol. Generally a malt liquor is much higher than that. But this one is low alcohol. Well, not low, that low, but low enough. A characteristic of ice beers is with the fractional freezing, they're supposed to go down easier. This goes down pretty easy, but I wouldn't consider it smooth. Let's pour a little bit more here. Normally I pour a little bit slower than that. Light, as I said, corn sweetness to it. Maybe just a tinge of a hop nibble back to boys at light. Any other flavors I'm getting, once it covers the lower part of my mouth, it just kind of slowly fades away. Doesn't leave anything left. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing left. No flavors on the top of my mouth at all. Nothing. And that's kind of it. Very light. Just no residual flavors. No character, no life in this. It reminds me a little bit of the Bud Light. I mean, I'd say between now those only ones I'm comparing to. The Bud Light I had earlier in the Bud that I reviewed. This tastes like it's a little bit between the two, even though it's obviously a different recipe. There's a little bit of flavor here, but very little. Good Lord, the Budweiser had more flavor than this. I don't get any fruitiness, any maltiness, bread, biscuit, cracker, dough, citrus, tangy. Like I said, that well, I don't even get toasted. I had that of the aroma, but not in the flavor. Very thin, watery. There's no character here. The mouthful is virtually non-existent. Like I say, just goes down there, the bottom of my mouth, gives us a thin layer, thin coating, vanishes. Let's try the can now, see how that compares. A little bit more sweetness now. I taste a little bit more of the adjuncts. Or again, that could be a Pilsner malt. Hint of toasted in there, but more so of the corn adjunct sweetness. No hop nibble at this point. And boy, that flavor, once it hits my mouth, yeah, it takes off, it vanishes. Still tastes very light body, very little character to it, still thin, pretty watery. I am disappointed with the ice characteristic, but with that freezing methods I mentioned, it should just slide down my throat with no effort, and this just doesn't. So, kind of wondering what's going on there. Yeah, if you're looking for flavor character, this is not the beer to have. If you want a cheap one that has some alcohol, it's not really going to get you drunk. At least one or two of them won't. Just a cheap beer, this will probably work. But I am surprised for malt liquor it's so low in alcohol. I really thought it'd be 7, 8%, something like that. Guess not. Alright, well, I don't have anything more to say on this one. It's not a rebuy for me, but this isn't the kind of beer I buy just to have a, I don't know, review on it. Why not? So, yeah, I guess that's kind of all of it. So I'm going to make a little bit more, I'll take another sample and wrap up. I don't like to have reviews that are this long. So it's a Beer Snob Brewer having a Mickey's malt liquor on ice. Cheers.